Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Today on The Young and the Restless, Danny and Daniel part ways again. Tessa and Abby have a run-in with Ian, and Jordan decides to take matters into her own hands. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, Soaks.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. At the Abbott mansion, Jack joins Kyle for lunch at the table, where he's working on a work project. His son says he's grateful to be back at Jabot where he belongs. Jack couldn't agree more. Kyle can't believe he came so close to blowing up his life. Jack crows that he turned his life around and came back to them. That's what he wants to focus on. Kyle's grateful. Jack asks about his work and whether he can help. Kyle hands over a proposal for the sunscreen moisturizer that he stole from them when he was at Glissade. At Chancellor, Claire makes notes as Nikki talks. She tells her to make sure marketing takes Abbott off the communications. Claire notices her grandmother is out of sorts. She heard there was a visitor at the ranch from her past. Nikki says it was Ian Ward. He's awful, and she hoped to never see him again. Claire says her mother warned her to be on guard. Nikki says that apart from Jordan, no one has tormented her more. She says he's a living nightmare and cannot be trusted. If Claire ever comes across him, she should not engage. One of his worst crimes is preying on young women. I was one of many. I was a teenage when I first met him. Claire and Nikki agree that Ian and Jordan are cut from the same cloth. Jordan walks into Crimson Lights in disguise as Esther is leaving Sharon a frantic voicemail to get in touch. She asks if there is anything she can do to help. Esther explains that the person who owns the place is missing. She can't discuss it, but she's very worried about her. Jordan asks if the police are involved. Does anyone know what happened to her? At Society, Abby seats Danny and Daniel at a table. Daniel tells his dad he wishes he could stay longer. They agree that Sharon going missing is unnerving and discuss the cops boosting Daniel's security detail. At the bar, Tessa tells Abby that Sharon's car was found in the river, but they are trying to think positive. Abby asks if she's had any more asthma attacks. Tessa hasn't, and never felt that way before. She marvels that the one man Maria hates more than anyone saved her. Abby says it's too convenient. With Ian Ward, you can't trust anything. Ian watches through the window as they talk. At Danny's table, Daniel doesn't know what to make of Sharon's disappearance. His father urges him to fly out for his last few shows with Lucy. Daniel balks, but Danny pushes. Meanwhile, Ian walks inside, clutching his Bible and eavesdrops as Abby tells Tessa that he's a snake whose list of crimes is endless. Tessa can't believe she got sucked into talking to him. Abby feels that what happened to her doesn't make sense. He just happened to be in the right place at the right time to save Maria's wife's life. Tessa can't disregard him saving her life. Ian shows himself. I'm so glad I was able to save you. Ian tries to chat up Abby and tells Tessa he's kept her in his prayers. She's grateful that he helped her, but she knows his real name and history now, and has doubts about his intentions. Ian meant what he said. She and Maria are blessed with a beautiful family. Tessa reminds him Mariah asked him to stay away from their family, and she has to ask the same. Abby backs her up and says it's her restaurant. He needs to leave and never come back. At Danny's table, Daniel doesn't want to pull Lucy out of school now that she's back in a routine. Danny understands. Daniel would send her on tour if he thought it would help, but he can't be away from her again. At the Abbott mansion, Kyle apologizes to his father for stealing the formula. Jack understands why he lashed out at them and feels Victor provoked him. Kyle did what he thought would endear him to Victor and undermine them. Jack points out he figured out a way to get inside Victor's twisted mind. It's water under the bridge, and they need to move on. Kyle has to ask, did he actually consider taking legal action against him? Diane appears and says Jack didn't, but I did. Kyle's appalled. Diane says she saw it as a way to bring them back to them. Kyle supposes he can't fault her for that. Diane admits she and Jack had opposing views about it and used it to make it seem that their marriage was falling apart. You broke the law, Kyle. Kyle knows, and he apologizes. Jack wants to put it all behind them, and explains Kyle's putting the product back where it belongs. They all agree to focus on the future of the family. Diane has something else to discuss, adds Kyle's mother. She's aware of his relationship with Claire, and that she spent the night there. She asks if he's planning to talk to Harrison about this. He should know what's going on between them. At Chancellor, Nikki continues telling Claire about her run-ins with Ian Ward. He nearly destroyed me. She adds that his time in prison emboldened him, and he came back again to terrorize them. He's launched many attacks on Newman, and even set fire to the Newman Towers. No one was hurt, but it could have ended very differently. Claire's glad Victor's stepped up security. Nikki says her husband will do anything to get Ian out of their lives, just like he did with Jordan. Nikki compliments Claire's latest report and the young woman is pleased. I learned from the best. That's you, by the way. Nikki asks her to get them lats from Crimson Lights, so Claire heads out. At Crimson Lights, Esther appreciates Jordan's support, but there's not much they can do. She takes her order for oolong tea, as well as a triple shot Americano to go. Jordan says she'll wait on the patio. Sitting at the table, Jordan looks at photos of Kyle and Claire on her phone and stews. Just then, Claire comes into the coffee house and Jordan hears her greet Esther, who then goes into the kitchen. At Society, Danny and Daniel agree to daily video calls while the tour continue. Daniel thinks it's best. He and Lucy try to continue their lives with their new normal. Danny muses. Without Heather. He thinks his son is an incredible father. I hope you realize how proud I am of you. At the door, Ian is ushered out by Abby and Tessa. He knows he's done terrible things, but he's willing to work to win back the trust of those he's wronged. Abby calls him a liar. Ian talks about desperately wanting forgiveness from others and wanting a chance to start over. He asks, before he goes, if they've heard anything from Sharon. Tessa says, I'm afraid not. Ian hopes God blesses them both and keeps them safe. With that, he totters out with an evil smirk. Abby warns Tessa not to let him get under her skin. Danny tells Daniel he has to pick up Cricket and head to the airport. He and Daniel embrace as they agree this doesn't get any easier. Daniel's glad to have spent this time with him. Danny urges him to call and keep him posted. They express their love and Danny leaves. At the Abbott mansion, Kyle tells Diane that Harrison adores Claire and will have no problem with their relationship. Diane and Jack worry that he sees her as the nanny and may have hopes of his parents getting back together. Kyle will talk to his son. Jack suggests he do it sooner rather than later. Kyle sees no reason to wait. Diane asks if he and Harrison will stay there. Kyle confirms this is their home. At Crimson Lights, Jordan puts her phone away as she listens to Claire and Esther chat about her working with Nikki at Chancellor. Esther steps away to give Jordan her order. Claire hears Esther say it out loud, and Claire's head snaps up as she realizes it's Jordan's usual. By the time she looks at the patio, Jordan has hustled out the door. After, Esther asks Claire if everything is okay. Claire frowns. That woman, she decides it's nothing and places her order. Esther wants to hear all about her and Kyle. Claire turns back toward the patio and frowns. At Society, Abby prepares to leave. She tells Tessa if Ian Ward comes back to call her. After, Daniel and Tessa agree that New Year's is off to a weird start. He admits he's feeling a little sorry for himself. I feel like everyone I love leaves me. Tessa thinks that makes sense under the circumstances. Daniel asks about her asthma attack. Tessa's physically alright. Daniel muses that out of nowhere she couldn't breathe. Tessa can't help but think there's more to what happened. Jordan returns to the motel with the order from Crimson Lights and tells the closed bathroom door, Ian, you won't believe what happened. She saw me. She says they have to move and get to work on this plan. Chop, chop. She keeps calling his name, knocks, and then opens the bathroom door. Realizing he's not there, Jordan muses. So, you disappeared. She's irked there's no note. Where are you? Out furthering your own agenda, I assume. When will he start working on her side of the plan? At Chancellor, Claire has just arrived back when she takes a call from Kyle, who asks if she's free later. He wants to talk to her about something. She learns he wants to tell Harrison about their relationship, and turns smiley. She will text what she's done for the day. Entering the office, Claire exchanges a glance with Nikki, who senses she's upset. Claire says there was a woman at Crimson Lights who ordered her tea just like Jordan. Nikki is sorry she had to be reminded of her. Claire says it was a bit freaky and that it was exactly the way she orders her. She's sure it's just the news about Ian Ward putting her on edge. Nikki assures her that Victor will deal with Ian, and she will never have to face Jordan again. At the Abbott mansion, Jack teases Diane about not telling him Claire spent the night. He guesses Mrs. Martinez is her source. Diane wonders what they think of Claire given that she's Victor's granddaughter. She prefers her over Audra, but hopes she can handle any challenges from Victor. I do not want Victor to come after our son again. Jack assures her they won't let that happen. He tells her they have to stay positive, and they kiss. In the motel room, Jordan flashes to telling Claire not to get soft on her. We'd have waited so long, and we're so very, very close. She remembers Claire telling her she broke her life and they're finished. Jordan recalls telling Claire she chose the wrong side. Crying, Jordan blubbers, "Oh God, Claire, how I've missed you," standing up and looking out the window. She fumes, "Still not back, IN." She muses that maybe she can't trust him to help her. Maybe she should take matters with Claire into her own hands.